Buongiorno, good afternoon, good evening, and if I don't see you later on, good night. It is Anthony Baker and Baron von Fugels. We are here on Tuesday, the 1st of
June. It's June. Blimey, flaming June. It's flaming about time. That's all I can say.
It is flaming. I went out and played the cheeky 9 holes this afternoon with the boys, my bosses. I was supposed to play 18, but I was played so badly that after 9 holes, I decided to come back. So you're live here with Antony and John. It is Seedcast Live. We should talk about Seedcast Live. We should put that, bend your ear on that one. We'll come back to that one. Okay. But we are live, guys. So if you want to have a conversation with us, you want to get involved in the chat, please feel free. We are live across 600 channels of social media, including ones that don't even exist yet. And we're excited about this evening. Wow. Are you, John?
Yeah, no, and I got an email about a new one from Twitter. I'll have to have a read of that later. No, I am. I had my second jab today. So some woman stabbed me in the arm again. Yes, I am that old. Before you say it, I'll get it out there now. I was obviously very early in the queue. Thank you. So I had my second jab today, and so far I haven't, keeled over and looked like an upturned cockroach in the middle of the garden or anything bizarre. So yes, it's fine. I'm allowed out to play. Hurrah! And the weather's turned good.
That just gave a lot of visuals to the people that are watching this of you naked, lying in your back garden looking like a cockroach. Hands and legs wobbling. Oh. But it's nice anyway.
I'll get my better tans.
Well, it is, and it was a long weekend. And I think what's interesting about the jabs is obviously I almost died from COVID, and to the people out there that did, I feel for you guys because it is a horrendous situation to be in. I was ill in fact, up until my first dose, I was and that was on May the 10th or something. February the 5th is when I started getting ill. February the 12th is when I went into hospital. So since then until a few weeks ago, I was actually still feeling ill from it.
Wow, you're just a wimp. I mean, but it was good that
cheers, dude.
Well, you can't even play 18 holes of golf, crying out loud. But when you were away, we had 2 very good stand-ins. Let's be honest. We had John Newlin, who was really, really good in talking about his career in IT and books and marketing, and then we had Paul Mathers talking about events and the events industry and the automotive industry that he's worked in, and he's Australian as well, so we had a perspective of that. So we had 2 good stand-ins when you're away, so we did okay.
What about when we talked about health and safety?
Did we do
mental health?
Oh, so health and safety, that's people falling off ladders or not, as the case may be. No, well, so that was interesting. So we followed up shortly after that with a lovely lady called Vidya, who talked about mental health.
I like the way you were searching for the name then.
No, Vidya.
It's up there somewhere. Come to me. Anyway, and she was amazing. I thought she was really good. But
I was pausing for effect, but thank you.
But we've done this. We've done this for a while now. I'd say almost a year, isn't it?
Feels like it.
It feels like a year, but that's just lucky with me, right? It's just a nightmare. I would say that we know each other pretty well. We've been through positives and negatives together. But it's not easy doing this.
No,
is it?
No, because to the point, and it's something we say regularly. It's unscripted. Yes, we do kind of swap messages, and there's a message in front of me now, and everyone else can read it. It says Two's Company, because you said to me, what should we talk about? I said, well, let's just talk about the fact it's just the 2 of us with occasional guests. So so it is difficult, but sometimes difficult things are actually more enjoyable. The harder you have to work, the more you get out of it. A bit like your golf.
It is, but I didn't get anything out of my golf today apart from losing 5 bloody golf balls. And I was really up for it as well. And what's really annoying is Ant, one of my bosses, I played with Ant and Tristan, and Ant, one of my bosses, is really good golfer, and I'd never tell that to his face. And I think I enjoy going and play with them because they both love it so much. And I do like going because I actually really do enjoy watching their success from it, probably more than I enjoy myself having it. But I can tell you now, my golf clubs are going up for sale because I've got £1,500 of golf clubs in the back of my car right now, and they are not. I can go and buy. I could probably do the same performance on a £50 set from, Direct.
A bamboo and an old shoe, right? Yeah.
Right. Honestly, my leather wedge hit the ball more today than my it went further anyway than the actual golf club. But when we look at what we do and why we do this, and we've talked about this a lot, but I think the perspective of what we're trying to get out is an understanding of basically our views and talking about subjects and so on. But when one of us is not here, we can't make it, and there are times that happens. I mean, sometimes we do it in our car, sometimes we do it sitting on the South Bank, and sometimes we do it in random situations. But thrusting someone else into the environment is a very difficult thing to do, because although we make it look like seamless, viewing, we are professionals, but it is not easy, is it really?
No, and there's two dynamics to that. So when the two people stood in when you were ill, Paul and John, when they stood in, it's quite different. And they would brief. We're going to talk about your subject, something very, very well. It's just going to be and I'll feed it. And I guess if you were to do those same conversations again with you as the host rather than me, they would be different again because of the dynamics of you and me. So that's quite a different thing to someone like Vidya joining. You and me are already in the ring, and we're already at an established level. And then we had
having internet problems as well.
Then we had two other people come in, anyway, so moving along. So there are different dynamics to two's a company. Yes, is 3 better, or is 3 different, or is 3 more difficult, or it's an interesting thing. And the reason for asking is we have had guests, and it has been really interesting to get their insight. Whether they're solo guests.
We've had some tragedies as well, right?
Yeah, but you learn by mistakes. You learn more by mistakes than you do by success. Well, some people learn more by mistakes. We shouldn't dwell on those. It is interesting. So the idea of guests, do they add something? Yes, they do. They bring content. They bring a different perspective. They bring knowledge. They bring insight. They bring information. But how do you dovetail that into an existing program where you and I are? We're a little bit bullish. We're a little bit, I wouldn't say aggressive or confrontational, but there's definitely sort of sometimes quite distinct opinions and views, and we're not afraid to share them. So sometimes I'm not saying
mostly I'm right, and you just argue sometimes.
I'm not going to rise to that one.
You know what's really interesting about what you said there is I'm listening to this lady right now. It's called You Badass. You're a badass. You're a badass. You got to be like Ray Iron. You got to be American to say it. You're a badass, because you're a badass in English doesn't sound quite as good.
No, you're a naughty person.
You're a very naughty boy. And no, he's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. To quote Monty Python. But and it's by Jen Sincero. So if you're watching this chapter and you want to listen to a board good, it talks about you as being a badass. And you know what's really interesting about that? It talks about and this is what I think is really interesting about our show is, and this is a really good book, and it says, whatever you think of me is none of my business. And it's taken me a long time. I'm 36 now, and it's taken me 36 years to get to the point where I realized that actually, if you don't like me, and you don't want to listen to me, then don't listen to me or don't talk to me. Go and do something else or switch off. But that's not the case. There'll be people watching this right now that don't like me, but they make a large percentage of the people that watch our stuff. And
but if you haven't got critics, you're doing something wrong. I remember, to that point, if people don't like you, that's their choice. It's not your choice. It's their choice. Yeah. I remember years ago, I was working for a guy. And he came in and he said, "Oh, so you don't like her," reference to a business associate. He said, "You don't like her." And I went, "I know nothing about her. I know nothing about her personal life, her social life, her background or whatever. I just think she's an idiot." And that was a purely professional opinion on her capabilities. It had nothing to do with whether I liked her or not.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting about this Jen Sincero book that I'm listening to? I do a lot of listening to stuff like that when I'm riding up. But it says, it's what you think of me is none of my business. I mean, obviously,
Is your ghost back?
Honest to God, like I don't know what it is, but it freaks me out. But so and what it was talking about this morning, which I really do like. It talks about how if someone asks your opinion and doesn't accept your opinion, that's not your fault. That's just your perspective, your experience, what you've talked about, what you know, and your experiences has got you to thinking in that way. It's not right or wrong to the person. They can go, well, I don't agree with you, but that's fine.
No,
you can disagree.
It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have different opinions, and actually, not everyone has the monopoly on being right, and not everyone knows every answer, right? So. We had this conversation a little bit. We touched on it a while ago, and it's something I advise. I do a lot of stuff for startups. I'm involved in a couple of startup communities, and when I talk to those, when I talk to those people, I say,
so what is it you do, John?
You don't surround yourself with people who are going to wave the flag and bang the drum and support you. Yes, you do need some of those for when you're feeling down, but you actually need people who are going to be honest. There's that line from Jerry Maguire, like we agreed brutally honest. No, we agreed honest. You added the brutal. You need people.
Show me the money. Show me the money.
That's
show me the money.
Yes. Why is it that's your favorite line and my favorite line is you had me at hello? Those probably tell those two lines probably tell more about you and me than anything else.
I'm the only one. It's 7:20, John. I'll be the only one here at 9 o'clock tonight in the office.
That's go and play golf. Do something else.
No, mate. Show me the money. Show me the money.
But the point is, surround yourself by people who are going to disagree with you, are going to stand up to you, are going to have an opinion, are going to say, actually, you're wrong. It doesn't matter. Don't be the smartest person in the room. There's no point. Yeah. So So how did what's that got to do with guests or not guests? I suppose we just need guests that are going to argue.
No. Do you know what? I think I like about this, John. I think I like about you. Let's just talk about ourselves for a second. The thing I like about you is you live in a different world to me. You do different things to me, and I've because of all the things I've done in my life, I've always been surrounded by people that benefited from the stuff that I did.
You mean your 8 times world champion wins that thing?
Well, no, I did all that stuff and I had shops and did all that other stuff, but because of that, even recently, the 77 Sports, which we're sort of shutting down now, because I'm not doing it anymore, people that did actually talk to me a lot don't speak to me anymore because they can't benefit from me. So what I'm finding is, as the more and more, the older I get, the more and more realizing, actually, I like to be surrounded by people that intellectually stimulate me in some way. Because this morning we had a conversation. You and I talk every Tuesday morning. We had a 20-minute conversation. We had no agenda for the conversation. We get on the call. There is no airs or graces. This is what, and we get onto a subject, and it benefits us in both ways. There's no, yes, we're friends and we're socially fine, but ultimately there is sometimes one of us gets more out of it, sometimes the other person gets out of it, but there's no.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be equitable because in the long run, in the global scheme of things, it becomes equitable. You don't have to make sure it's equitable every time. I'll carry on and talk as if you're not here. You're right.
If I get taken, someone comes and kidnaps. This is why I've been eating a lot, so no one can kidnap me.
People spend. I'm not saying don't be nice to people, but people spend too long in all the airs and graces and say hello, be polite, and get on with what it is you want to talk about. Because get more done, right? Just get more done. So before you get kidnapped.
Hello?
It's the ghost. Hello? I told you it's the ghost in the back again.
Hi. It's a cleaner. So this is amazing viewing. By the way, we are live, guys. If anyone wants to comment on our randomness, please feel free. So, guess, John. So I was going back to my point. My point is, I want to talk to somebody who I actually find interesting. Do you know what I mean? I don't really want to not waste, but spend half an hour of our time talking to somebody who literally is got nothing. We've done that, right?
So who would be left field, thinking left field, and don't think of some name because it's kind of someone famous, but left field, and there doesn't, who would be a really cool guest that you would love to have on the show? It doesn't have to even be a name, just a job title. The head of pharmacology and biotechnology at GlaxoSmithKline or something. I don't know.
No, and you know what? I do. I do like history. I love history, and
Right.
I find it fascinating. And in fact, today I stopped at motorway services on my way up here, and we're in the north right now, the way north of England in Peterborough, and Scotland is literally 200 yards that way, and this is where William Wallace stood on the wall and said, "You can take our land, but you can't take our freedom."
He was American as well, was he?
200 yards away. And you know, I thought history I find really interesting.
Yeah.
History and space, because I watched something on UFOs yesterday, and I legitimately think that well, you know, I believe in I'm quite a spiritual person. Both Nat and I are. We are as a family, and we do quite a lot of that sort of stuff. But I do believe in, you know, your body as energy and all this sort of stuff and moves on. So I'm really interested to talk to people that had experiences in that space. If you're a UFO and you've been kidnapped, abducted, and you've had, I know, your femur replaced by Lego pieces or something, then
are you going to turn up next week with a colander on your head and wrapped in tin foil?
So you asked me. So I like history, love history. I find it fascinating that thousands and thousands of years ago, there was mega structures and all that sort of stuff. So I do like that sort of thing.
So who would you have as a guest? Completely left field.
I would have Tutankhamun. Love to have a chat to him. I think he'd be really interesting.
Not sure he'd have much to say right now, but okay.
Yeah, just sit there. We've had some people that probably should have shut up as well, shouldn't we, on our calls? So I find fascinating history and people that have built something from scratch. I speak to a lot of people all day long that are building parts of banks or investment banks or cryptocurrency, and you know, a lot of people say Elon Musk, but Elon Musk is just somebody that happens to have a lot of money. He's a very smart person that manipulates markets. And, you know, if you're a crypto and you like Elon Musk and you've got money in crypto, then take it out of crypto because you're naive. But, you know, so not someone like that. Maybe Tiger Woods. I'd like to have a chat to him because I'd love to get down and dirty exactly what he's done, naughtiness in his life. But it's just interesting people, people that are not afraid to come on and actually have a conversation. But so that's me, John. That's the kind of people that I'd like to talk to. Talk to me. You know what? I'm really interested about the stuff that the books and stuff that you're writing. And I know that we talk every week about us doing books, and we will do, and watch this space, guys, because we will have some stuff coming out. But I find somebody that can sit and creatively write like a paragraph, knowing where it's going to end, and then fill all the spaces in between. I find that fascinating as well.
Well, you're presuming I know where it's going to end. That's another story. So
no, but you probably
I could not write fiction if my life depended on it. You know, I couldn't. I would struggle to write fiction. So you know, which is interesting because you know, everyone's got different writing techniques, and the umpteen oodles of people running courses on how to write books and all that kind of stuff. And it became the go-to industry in lockdown one, write a book, you know. So, writing books is kind of, the journey of writing a book is more fun than the journey of selling it after it's been published.
Yeah, it's not about that, is it, though? It's about producing. It's like having a child, isn't it? It's about conceiving the child, birthing the child. Obviously, men go through as much pain as women, and then coming out the other end, and then growing. You know, yesterday I went paddleboarding with I went on the beach with my son, a couple of my kids, and a friend of mine, and my 10-year-old carried his paddleboard over the beach, went paddleboarding for an hour. We watched him paddleboarding around, chatting to other people, and then came back in. And you know what? That's, for me, for somebody who loves water sports, that's a great thing to watch, because he didn't whinge, he didn't moan, he took his board in, took his board out, you know, and loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Okay. So, guests. So you'd have someone, okay, interesting guest. We talked
somebody that's written books. You know who I'd love?
Yeah.
Stephen Fry.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I think his knowledge and understanding. I love his talks about Greek mythology and
have you read those books?
I haven't read them, no, but I've got a list of books and I'm slowly getting myself through it. But I think, have you read them?
I've read them, and both his autobiographies.
Yeah, and I just think that his knowledge of a time which, you know, is different to now is fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. You should go to Dennis Sever's house as well next time you're in London. It's in Folgate Street, so it's worth going. You have to book in advance. It's not actually officially a museum; it still belongs to the family. Because if it was a museum, they'd have to put lights and fire escapes in it. But Dennis Severs of Folgate Street, and the book that goes with it is absolutely fascinating. There is a guy who decided he didn't want to play the game the way it was being played at the time and wanted to just wind the clock back 100 years. So that's very cool.
No, don't tell me it's broken.
What have you done? I can hear you fine.
Hear me now. Hear me now.
Yes.
Cool.
And I'm sure everyone else can hear me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Dennis
so who would you
Severs,
like to speak to?
Dennis Severs, Folgate Street. Who would I don't know. Who would I invite? I would have. He died last year. Al Warden. I met him briefly. That would be a fantastic meeting with someone like him. But unfortunately, he died last year. But I did get to meet him a little while ago. So he was really interesting. I don't know. Ant Middleton. Be interesting.
Ant Middleton.
Middleton. Just his.
What was the book I listened to of his?
Fear Bubble. Fear Bubble is very good.
No, I'm not going to let this go.
Anyway, so in a few weeks' time, we're going to be doing Seacast Live, right?
Yeah. Keep talking.
We're not going to get Middleton or Grant Cardone to turn up. So who would you have anyone as a guest or not?
Grant Cardone.
I'd probably. I don't think Grant Cardone and I would stay in a room for very long together.
First man in, Ant Middleton.
Oh yeah, First Man In. That's a brilliant book. That's absolutely brilliant book. In that, he talks about the fear bubble, which is an absolutely fascinating idea and something that I've actually talked to people and they've used it to help their children deal with the stresses of exams, the fear bubble. So it just shows you simple ideas that he's developed for himself to look after himself can be applied in very different ways. So it's quite interesting.
You know what's, as we talk about this, actually, I'll tell you who else I'd like to speak to is E. Haleakala.
Mm-hmm.
He did the technique which is called Ho'oponopono. I've got a lot of time for that. And the projecting and healing, sort of healing people that's not there, that when you're not with them, that sort of stuff I find amazing. Understanding energy and how it works.
Yeah, it's all a bit weird to me, that stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, so what kind of people, who are we going to get on the show and how are we going to get them on there? That's the question.
Well, so if you mean on this show, well, I don't think we want someone every week, but I guess, I get approaches all the time from people saying, can I be on your show? Can I be on the show? It's easy to fill up the show with people, but the problem is you don't want to do that. It's got to be someone who's got something really cool, really divergent. I don't mean different, but divergent to what you and I believe and think, which is kind of interesting,
which is what you want, which is to make a debate. But I mean, we talked about this, and I guess what we're bringing up to is we are live from Seacast here. It's called Seacast Live. We have got in plan to be at the end of June. We're aiming at the end of June right now, which is Seacast Live. Fantastic, like out, but live, and it is live, but live. So we're live right now, but we will be live then. So it's talking about being live, but in a live environment. So we are live, but we will be live. So we will be doing it in London, in the city of London. We will be looking to get a panel of people to come in as well and talk about certain subjects which are predetermined.
Oh, okay.
But or a couple of people that we can come up and we can talk about.
Fine. I'm fine. It's cool by me.
So it will be a debate of you and I to start off with, and it's planned to be a networking event, which we'll do quarterly, and that will be aimed around a free and open discussion, a debate based on certain subjects with some networking, with some vino, from there really. So
that'll be quite good to actually take it on the road. Do I get a T-shirt with Seacast and all the venues and dates on the back? Can I get one of them?
No, you get a mug, plastic cup, and with a black marker pen. Right. JF, Captain von Fugels, on the front. Baron von Bakerham.
Do I get a director's chair with my name on the back?
One of the guys that just started with me today actually is the son of one of the ladies who worked here, and he thought my name was Antony Baron von Baker. Which cracked me up. So please refer to me as Baron von Baker from here on in.
So end of June, we're doing this in the City of London. It's going to be you and me plus a few guests or guest questions or whatever, and networking.
Yeah, and networking. So we will have a conversation before, a bit of networking with people, just meander in between people. So we don't want just people from the market. I work in recruitment. We want all different types of people. We want it to be a little bit of an evening out, if you like. A couple of hours. So like 45 minutes of us talking on stage, discussing points like we discussed now, but with interaction from the crowd.
Are we going to stream it as well, like we are this? We
will stream this live as well, the same way as you do this. Yeah. But the idea is to get as many people as we can in environment, to create a live atmosphere, to see how we get on. Really, I mean, it'll be a bit of a pilot for us. It'll be fairly random for us having this conversation. I mean, I can ignore people like the rest better than the rest of them, but.
Yeah, but if we're in front of a crowd, you can't put me on mute or make me disappear or any of that kind of stuff. So
yeah, no. So while we have the luxury to do so,
you're all heart. Thank you. So, are we if we're gonna have an audience? Yeah. So here's the thing. Normally, you and I. It's unscripted. We talk about what we're going to talk about maybe sometime that day, sometime in the afternoon, that morning. The reality is usually I say, why don't we talk about, or you say, why don't we talk about? And yes, and done.
Yep.
Are we going to do that on the live? Or do we want to ask people, I don't know, we could have people from the audience ask questions, or we could have ideas posted. Well, are we going to, is there a plan to change the format, or
I think that we should come up with 5 separate subjects, put them out on Ccast live as a poll through our channels, and ask the public what they think, or what the people are, or the people that want to come, what they want to talk about. We talked about it obviously being a free-to-air event. I would like it to be a £5 entry, and all the money goes to a charity of our choice locally. There are lots of people right now that are struggling in this environment. I think that if we can create something that can benefit people as well, we don't want to make any money out of it because we like the entertainment value. But if we can create, if we can get 50, 100 people to come, and we can get £5 each, then I don't think that's and put it towards a charity. You've got some great charities that you look, and I've got some charities that we use as well, but that's a conversation for us looking down the loop. So let's do that. Let's come up with some subjects. We'll put them out. We will ask you guys watching this of what you want us to discuss and talk about. I quite like the obviously things have changed. Have you changed? How have you changed? I do like the
well, you like that one because you and I disagree too much.
Yeah, it is. But because we look at it from 2 different worlds, John. I've talked today, and I've written down some numbers here. I've talked to Connor, who works for me. He spoke to 45 people. The other guy that just spoke to me, he gave me 26 CVs. I had sent to me today 97 CVs. I've had LinkedIn emails, I don't even know, over 100 today. And I spoke to 60 people. I will speak to another 10, 15 people before I go to bed. That's in one day. All of them have a different opinion of what should work and what shouldn't work, and what worked for them and what doesn't work. And, and that's to 6, 7 different companies that we're sending all these people to who have a pretty even keel on what they want and how they want it. The hardest part of what we're doing right now is looking at what people shouldn't be doing. What's going to change? The world come September the 1st, is it? Furlough ends?
Oh, yeah, furlough. Well, yes, they can't keep going on forever and ever and kicking the ball down the road. But
exactly.
But, the other stuff, the change of the rules is, I wouldn't say it's fairly fluid, but it's absolutely not set in stone. We've just seen in Scotland, not everyone's gone down.
One person died in Scotland. Nobody died in England of COVID.
Ooh, contentious.
Not one person.
Well, here's the thing. I had a conversation with my daughter the other day. More people get killed with a coconut falling on their head than get eaten by sharks, right? So Go swimming in the water. Don't eat coconuts because they're dangerous. It's just numbers. You can make the numbers do anything you want. But I have to say, I've now given up on eating coconuts. They're dangerous.
Yeah. But I think, put yourself right now. I don't think I'm in Peterborough right now in the north of England. I don't think there's many coconuts around here to be worried about.
Or sharks.
Sharks, maybe. It's cold in the water, but I'm in the middle, literally in the middle of England. Like it doesn't matter which direction you go. It's taking you quite a few hours to get to the seafront.
I think Towcester is the most centrally located town in the UK, right?
Towcester.
Yeah.
It's called Towcester.
Yeah.
Toast.
Taucester. I believe that's the most centrally located country in the UK. The Romans called it Lactodorium. There you go. Something I learned the other day.
Is it a country inside of England?
No, it's a little town, village
town. Okay.
near Silverstone, Northampton way. I'm sure it's the most. Anyway, moving on.
Well, we are moving on. So what have we got to, John? We want guests. Who do we want as guests? I want interesting people on as guests. Guys, if you're watching this, please chuck your interesting ideas of the kind of person you would like us to chat to, talk to, have a conversation with. I think, a lot of the time.
We could get your cleaner on as a guest.
Jeez, yeah. She doesn't speak any English, which might be quite interesting. Make as much sense as us. So we are live at the end of June, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. We are live. If you want to be involved in the live, please give us a shout. It is going to be a charitable event, which is going to be a networking event. There will be some bubbly on deck, and it will be a local WeWork in London. Hopefully, we will be social distancing or whatever it's needed at that point. Hopefully, we won't need to. We might even be able to cuddle. We could have a mass cuddle.
Well, you can cuddle now, but you can only cuddle certain people at a certain time.
We could have a cuddle orgy.
Yes. Seed cast.
Poor choice of words. Seed cast. You couldn't even say it, could you?
Seed cast cuddles. No. Blah, blah.
Seed cast cuddle. No, I can't say it. But anyway, guys, it's been half an hour, John.
It's good. We should actually talk about something next week, though, to be fair.
What should we talk about next week?
Oh, blimey, I don't know. Well, I'll read the papers and think of something and find something. I'm sure there's something to be. Okay. Well, so most of the schools are on half term. So, yeah, maybe we should do something about education, especially as the government's just announced that they want 200 hours of extra education for every child to catch up. And you kind of go, wow, that's a lot. And you kind of go, no, it's only 4 hours a week.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Was it 100 hours? 2 hours a week. It's 100 hours, 2 hours a week. So it's not much, but at least they're doing something. And there's a lot of children kind of academically been left behind because some children have kind of knuckled down and just got on with it, and they've had access to teachers and technology and supportive groups around them, whether that's parents and friends and so on and so forth. And other kids have just struggled, right? So there's a kind of left behind piece going on as well.
I did see that Rashford, Man United football player, best team in the world, other than Millwall, and he donated like 20 million to make sure kids didn't go hungry. And I think that as a middle class sort of environment or people, again, especially even with the people that we're talking to now, I think it's very easy to forget that there are a lot of people that are struggling for different reasons than what we talk about. And I think that poverty in the UK is. It is changing, and it is. There are people that are worse off than us. I think that's a better way of looking at it.
Yeah. Maybe there's a new phrase that's going to come out over the next few years, which is education poverty.
Yeah. Well, but in some respects, people did get more help than what they would have done if they'd been going to school every day.
Some did. Also, I do think it came down to the difference between good schools and bad schools used to be the quality of teachers. Now it's the quality of the teachers, the access to technology, the amount of money the schools got. It's a lot of things, not just the quality of the teachers anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, fantastic. Well, John, it's been a pleasure as always. It is CCAST Live. It is Tuesday, that's 1st of June, 2021. John, did you think you were going to make it?
Oh, I did.
Okay, cool, fantastic, great. It's 2021. You've been on CCAST Live. We are live every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We love having these conversations. Remember, we are live, and you want to be involved in our charitable live event coming at the end of June. Please feel free to contact us. But otherwise, Jonathan, you have a wonderful evening. Enjoy your evening. Get out, get some sun, put some sunscreen on top of that head, mate. Otherwise, it's going to go crazy. And I will speak to you soon.